Hi everyone, my name is Kristina Gligorić. I'm a PhD student at TPFL. I will present our work, Formation of Social Ties Influences Food Choice, a campus-wide longitudinal study. This is a collaboration with Ryan, Emre, and Eric from Microsoft Research, Arnaud from University of Fribourg, and Bob West from EPFL. In this work, we ask, how does formation of social ties influence food choice? How are properties of food choice, the healthiness or types of items consumed, affected by the eating partner's food choice? The motivation for studying these questions is the fact that for long it was suspected that social influence has a major impact on the food choice that we make. So think about parents, classmates, friends, partners, and complex ways in which their diet can impact ours. However, quantifying such complex influences is very challenging, and to date, most of the evidence comes from small-scale surveys or experiments that are limited in duration. Another great challenge is entanglement of homophily and influence. So for example, if we observe two friends who both eat very healthy, are they similar because they're friends and they influence each other to be healthy, or did they become friends exactly because they are similar in their food taste? In this study, we try to provide some answers based on real-world data, and this paper will be presented at CSCW conference in October as well. We study anonymized transaction logs of purchases made at TPFL campus with the identifying badge. Similarly to university or corporate campuses around the world, students make purchases with rechargeable badges. The dataset that we analyze contains 38 million purchases made over 8 years, and this lets us do a campus-wide longitudinal study. So the key idea is the following. We observe anonymized persons making transactions, like in this picture in the upper right, and then the food partners, persons that are likely connected with a social tie and that frequently eat together, are inferred based on their repeated proximity in the restaurant queue. So they appear next to each other, like in the image, many times. In order to have some information about what products are healthy or not healthy, we annotated the sold items with the help of expert epidemiologists on our team. And then we designed a matched quasi-experimental study based on incident user design. So let me describe what that means. The key idea behind the study design is the following. We observed two focal persons, focal person 1 and focal person 2, and they will be our comparison pair. They both don't have a regular eating partner, and they are indistinguishable from each other in terms of their pre-treatment purchases. This is captured by a set of relevant features, shops they typically buy from, time of the day they buy at, how healthy the items that they buy are, and how often they make purchases on campus. Then at a given moment, they both acquire a partner that they start to eat regularly with. And this is the moment of tie formation. However, person 1 starts to eat with a healthy eating partner, while person 2 starts to eat with a partner that has unhealthy eating habits. And for example, this can happen when they start to take a new course together, so they are exposed to new people. Then we monitor purchases made by person 1 and person 2 in the post-treatment period when they eat regularly with their partners. And we compare the healthiness of purchased food before and after tie formation for both person 1 and person 2 to get the difference between after and before tie formation. And finally, we can calculate the difference in these differences to capture by how much focal persons diverge depending on the properties of the partners that they acquire. And this is the quantity that we are interested in. So in this way, the setup lets us then identify how is healthiness of a person's food choice affected by healthiness of their partner's food choice. And the question that we are interested in is, do people modify their habits after starting to eat with someone? And if so, in what direction? What kinds of items are purchased in modified quantities? We observe that matched persons significantly diverge after tie formation, depending on the partner's attributes, which is an evidence of social influence. So persons who start to eat with a healthy eating partner purchase on average around 6 additional healthy items in the period following tie formation, compared to the matched person who starts to eat with an unhealthy eating partner in the 6 post-treatment months. So if we look at the difference in the pre-treatment scores of partners in the matched pair on x-axis, where right is more dramatic and less is less dramatic, and if we look at the difference in difference effect estimate on the y-axis, where higher is stronger effect or more influence, we can spot a dose-response relationship, where the more drastic the difference between partners is, the stronger the treatment effect will be. Then next, we zoom in order to understand what kinds of items are purchased in modified frequencies. So on x-axis, we have again the estimated difference in differences effect. And on y-axis, we have a number of different categories of food items that persons can buy on our campus. So then we can first see that persons that start to eat with another that has healthy habits buy more coffee, lunch meals, soups, fruits, dessert, tea, and salads. And they buy less of items that loosely form a cluster of unhealthy items that shouldn't be consumed in high frequencies. Soft drinks, vending machine items, sauces, pizza, kebab, compared to the matched focal person. And then finally, I wanted to highlight 3 key takeaways from this study. So first, little is known about how passively sensed behavioral signals, such as purchase logs, can be used for understanding factors that govern food choice. And we try to bridge that gap by analyzing data that is large scale and long-term. And this lets us derive insights that would otherwise be very challenging to derive. Second, these findings have implications for interventions. They can support interventions aimed at encouraging more healthy and sustainable dietary habits in university environments and beyond. It is very challenging to design nutritional interventions, and it is also logistically complicated. It is difficult to predict their impact through experimentation due to ethical concerns. There are also dangers of eliciting undesirable effects. So in that case, evaluating the impact of interventions that naturally occur is very powerful by looking at the past of transaction logs. And then finally, beyond the purchase logs on campus, this methodology of comparing very similar persons that we can think of as digital twins has the potential to allow detecting behavioral changes also in other relevant social scenarios. So for example, a similar methodology can be applied in order to understand how individuals impact behaviors or skills of one another in other contexts, such as exercise habits, coaching or counseling, traveling, sleeping patterns, online interactions, and so on. And I will conclude by outlining some promising directions that we are currently pursuing in this space. So one additional benefit of looking at transaction logs is that we can look at specific restaurants and we can zoom into specific situations when people are eating together. We suspect that one of the driving mechanisms of social influence is mimicry or copying, where a person is more likely to exhibit the same behavior or to copy the person who is in front of them in the queue. And then the beauty of this setup is that thanks to the outline of cafeterias at TPFL campus, looking at transactions, we can reconstruct the queue in which students and staff line up to make a food choice. And then here you can see illustrations of a couple of restaurants, how the cash registers are positioned, where the food is, and how the persons queue. We are also interested in exploring the role of genders and different statuses, for example, students versus employees, to figure out what individuals are most likely to influence others and what individuals are most likely to be influenced. And this setup of restaurants at EPFL campus will also let us establish the role of the design of a restaurant, as this can have implications for deciding how food is offered at university environments and beyond. Thank you so much for your attention. At this URL, you can check out our full paper for more details. Thank you.